This is another episode of Cooking with Chef D. We're making a pulled pork queso. Absolutely amazing.
This queso is mad simple. And when I was thinking about this dish, I was really thinking at the base of this dish, the cheese part of it, you could definitely add pasta to it and still add the pulled pork. Me and Charles went out the other day and we went out for wings. Charles loves the queso and chip appetizers from anywhere, right? So we were looking at this particular dish because they did put pulled pork on it. So I was like, theirs was a little runny. I didn't like the texture. I didn't like the flavor of it was a little bland. So I was thinking I could definitely jack this up and make it way better. So that's what we're going to do today. This is inspired by a place that we went to here in town that they do a nice and okay queso and pulled pork.
All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and go in with my brown sugar. And I'm also going to hit it with some Traeger, and I'm using the garlic and chili and pepper rub. I absolutely love this rub. It's really good. I'm also going to use some onion powder, some garlic powder, and I'm going to add one of my favorite spices is the Hungarian paprika. This is going to add to the smokiness that I'm also going to get from the grill. Because the Traeger rub is not really extremely spicy, I add some chili flakes and it's not salt heavy, so I go in with some pink Himalayan salt, and I give it a little bit more of the pepper from black pepper that I love to use also in this rub. It's really good. I love this rub. And you can alter the spices for this rub in particular. So here is our pork butt. I always rinse off my meat, and my pork butt was nicely trimmed by the butcher, so no need for me to go in and do that. I do a diagonal score, making sure to go kind of deep. I want to make sure that my rub gets deep down within that meat. So I do go a little deep, probably deeper than most. I cover it with mustard, and this is going to help the rub adhere. And you can see I get in there, Dorian. I get really deep down in all those little grooves that I created with my score. Now I'm going to go in, and all the rub that I made is going on this pork butt. I go heavy. I want to make sure that my pork butt is thoroughly covered, and I do kind of a rub pat to make sure that the pork butt is thoroughly covered and that rub gets deep down into the meat. And as you can see, I got all down in there. It almost looks like a ham, but it's a pork butt. Now we go ahead and put our meter in, and we are ready for the grill.
So the first thing we're going to do is chop up some garlic and onions. And I am making an actual queso dip. It's going to have a little spice to it, heavy on the cheese, and it's going to have vibrant colors, all the things that the other dip did not have. All right, so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is, you guys know me best. You know I love my elephant garlic. We're going to go ahead and chop some elephant garlic. I like a lot of this. Elephant garlic comes off a bit sweet. Got to roll away. A bit sweet at times, but lately it's been kind of strong. The other day I was making my egg roll soup, and this elephant garlic burn my eyes really, really bad. So sometimes it comes off mild and then other times not so much. I've never paid attention to the time of the year that I use it, so maybe that's some of it too, right? That could be a lot of it actually. And how it's how soon they pull it or how long it's been sitting before it actually gets to me. So I'm just really doing a rough chop. If you like a really good minced garlic, I like to kind of have a little bit of a bite as long as the garlic is cooked through. Remember, if you scorch or burn your garlic, you got to start all over from scratch because it will come off, no matter what type of garlic you use, it will come off as bitter. And we don't like bitter. Okay, so I got a nice little, not quite a minced and not quite a chunky garlic, I guess you could say. But I got a nice, even, give it a couple of more chops here in the other direction. Now, a lot of people like that stuff that is in the jar already. For a quick fix, not so bad. But for this, I want the full flavor, for real. I don't want that shelf taste at all. Right? All right, so enough with the garlic. We're going to just push this over to the side because we are going to sweat our garlic and our onions all together. And for the onions, I'm just going for a nice basic chop. Okay? A nice basic chop. Onion wanted to roll away from me. I like to use sweet onions a lot, and I also use the red/purple onion. Call it what you want to. It's really purple. It's not necessarily red, but I like to use those too. I like sweet onions. Vidalias are really good too. A lot of people from down south swear by a Vidalia onion. And I'm probably pronouncing that wrong because I'm from up north, not from down south. So just a nice little even dice on this onion, and we are going to use pretty much all of it. This queso is going to be so full flavor. What I found with the other queso, it was so runny. I'm sure they don't make it there. I'm more than certain that they don't make it. It almost tastes like it came out of a can, which, I mean, for a restaurant, you really don't expect for them to make queso because it's so easy to buy it out of the can, like the white nacho cheese. But if you're making this at home, by all means, go all out. And y'all know me, I'm extra. If I'm making something for myself or for a client, definitely giving them the best. All right, so now that we have our onions and our garlic all chopped up and ready to go, we can start the saute. Now, this is going to be extremely quick. My eyes are burning from the onions, and let me wash my hands and we'll get started. Okay, while our pan is heating up, this cheese dip, along with some other ones, not really a lot of other ones, but I have in my cookbook over here, right there, there she is, right there. In my cookbook, Not Your Average Southern Side Chick, I have some macaroni and cheese and a super cheesy potato dish in there. Now you can take those cheese sauces that you're going to be making for those two dishes and definitely replicate this dish that I'm making today by adding any kind of meat you want, pulled chicken or whatever. And look, I put my stuff on the grill. You can definitely use a rotisserie chicken from the grocery store. You can go buy pulled pork in your refrigerator section of your grocery store and make this a very quick and simple dish. If you meal plan and you want something quick, You can also buy some tortilla, burrito wraps, or whatever, and definitely have this. This is a quick, easy, absolutely amazing, a nice, rich a dish to have. Now that we have everything chopped, we're going to go ahead and add it to our pan or to our pot, our little sauce pot. And because we're not making that much, we don't need a big, huge skillet. Now, if you're making a lot, like a large cast iron skillet of this, then by all means use a bigger one. But for the most part, this should be enough for what I need. We're going to go ahead and add our onions and our garlic. And we're just going to cook this really quickly until we smell it. And I can tell y'all, it hit that amazing olive oil, and I can already smell it. So we're going to go ahead and start to saute this. No need to worry about my food or this dish tasting like olive oil or anything like that, because Garcia de la Cruz olive oil has such a mild flavor. And today I am using their Master Miller. It's absolutely amazing. It smells so good in here, y'all. Now, the one thing that I'm not going to do, I'm not going to salt until the very end, because my cheese has a lot of salt in it, and I don't want this to come off salty at all. Okay, so I can definitely smell it. We're going to add some flour. And because I want to cook that flour off, I'm going to add a little more olive oil. Just about 2 more tablespoons of olive oil, because I need to cook that flour off. I don't want any color. No color. Let's turn this down some. No color. Okay. We got a little bit at the bottom, but that's not a problem, because we're using an induction. It gets kind of hot, but we're good. All right. So the next thing we're going to do now that that is all cooked off is we're going to add our milk. Whoop. Milk don't want to go in. Let's wipe that off. And we're going to go from our spatula. I'm making a mess. We're going to go from our spatula to our whisk, because we are about to have an amazing workout. And we're going to cook this until it gets thick. And then we'll add some more milk. It's already starting to get thick. Nice, beautiful. And what we're essentially making is a bechamel. Yes, one of the beautiful mother sauces. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I'm gonna add a little more milk. Okay. And we're just building. Now that we have this beautiful base, we're going to start to add our cheese. Now what I have here, is Monterey Jack, white cheddar, pepper jack, and mozzarella. And we're going to just start adding this to the mix, a little bit at a time. And you can see that pepper jack in there. It's going to give it a nice spice. Once it melts, go ahead and add some more. And you're just going to add this cheese until you get your desired amount or the desired texture. It's totally up to you. And all of these cheeses melt absolutely amazingly. It's very good. I can't wait to dig into this. We got a couple of more little surprises for our queso, and then we are going to put it all together. Okay, we're going to reserve some of this cheese for the top of our queso once we put it into the our cast iron skillet, because this is going to go into the oven to brown, because I really love that crispy, cheesy, gooey effect. I want that so bad for this. But before we do that, I have some original diced tomatoes with chili. Now, you can use any kind you absolutely like. I know we all use that amazing Rotel. You can use that. That's what I have. I have the original. It has just enough little spice to it, and I think it's really going to bring this queso to life. So we're going to add 1 can of drained Rotel. Let me drain some more of the juice off. Okay. Tomatoes and chilies. And that looks so good. Now that we have our cheese sauce ready for the cast iron skillet, I'm going to add some of Garcia de la Cruz's garlic olive oil to my cast iron, because I'm just adding a little bit, and then I'm going to take a paper towel, and actually this is pretty much all of it. I'm going to take a paper towel and wipe around my cast iron so that the cheese does not stick. This is a really great trick. You can do it with butter. I like to use olive oil. Just wipe the bottom lightly to spread that olive oil around. If you want, you can also add a little bit more olive oil so that the cheese gets a nice crispy crust around the edges. Absolutely amazing. So now we take our cheese sauce, give it a nice stir, and we're going to pour it into our cast iron skillet. Turn that off. Nice. Our cast iron skillet. And then we're going to top it. Now we're going to top it with a little more cheese. And it's okay if this cheese kind of falls to the bottom. It's all right. That looks absolutely amazing. It's going to be so good. Yes, absolutely amazing. We're going to get a few sprigs of parsley chopped, just for a little bit of a little garnish. We're going to put some on now, and we will put some on later. That ring popping. You always get that. Yes. Okay. Remember, your herbs should not leave marks on your board. If you do, you're going too vigorous on them. A little pet peeve of mine. All right, we're going to take half of that and we're going to sprinkle it on. That is so beautiful. You could actually just eat this just like this if you wanted to. You really and truly could, but I really want that crust on top. I have my oven set on broil. On high. I'm going to turn it down to low because I don't want this to get too brown to where it looks burnt, but I do want it to have a nice brown coating. So I'm going to turn my broiler on low. And we're going to put this in the oven until the top gets nice and beautifully browned, like me. Now that our queso dip, our cheesy dip is in the oven browning on a low broil, we're going to go ahead and start to shred our pork butt that we had on the grill earlier today. Now, I like to wrap and pan my pork butt. That way I don't lose any of those juices. I don't know too many people who don't like to wrap and pan their meat because you really want that juice at the end. So we're going to go ahead and take off this paper, and I use my meter for this pork butt. And oh, look at that. Look at all that juice. Yes, God. I'm trying not to lose none of it, y'all. And I use, ooh, it's still hot. It's still very hot. Very, 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 very hot. Even after resting, it's still very hot. Let me go ahead and throw away this paper. Now that our pork butt has rested and I've unwrapped it, you can see that this bad boy is floating in all of those amazing juices. Look at that. And that's going to keep our shredded pork nice and moist. Now you can see I have my meter in, and this is a meter plus, the meter 2 plus. It gave me an internal temperature of 203 for pulled pork, and it's absolutely amazing. Now this bone is still hot, so I just take a paper towel and hopefully, ooh, yes, nice and clean. Perfection every time. Yes, that is absolutely amazing. And we are just going to go in, and we don't want this to be so shredded to where I didn't want it to be pulled pork to where it's mush. Have you guys ever had that? I like some bite to my meat, but you can see this stuff is so tender. And that rub that I put on earlier definitely is like, it's banging right now. Oh, let me take the meter out. Nice. Absolutely beautiful tool. I don't like my ribs or my pulled pork to be so cooked to mush. I like the chunks of the pulled pork, and this is speaking everything. Let me take a piece. I want to try it. Dip it in that sauce. Oh my God. It's so good, y'all. Absolutely amazing. All right, so we have our meat all pulled and ready to go on our queso. Our queso is out of the oven now, and you can see, oh, look at that. A nice, beautiful char of that cheese on top. It is absolutely amazing, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's like lava. It is still bubbly, boiling. This is absolutely the quickest, easiest queso dip, full of flavor, full of texture. Now, for the best part of the whole dish, we are going to add pulled pork to the top of this. Now, it's totally up to you on how much or where you place it. I'm going to go straight down in the middle of my queso with my pulled pork. I feel like every scoop of queso should have some pulled pork in it. So I know that this pulled pork is going to fall to the bottom, and I'm just going to build off of it as it falls. So when my guest or my family goes in to grab any of it, or they go in to dip, never double dip, they will get meat. And this pulled pork is absolutely amazing, y'all. It really is. It's a nice way to utilize your grill for something that normally would just be blah. Just be blah. I love this. All right. Add a little bit more to it. There we go. I'll save the rest for Bailey that's in the bowl. All right, so this dish, I'm gonna go ahead and top it with some, a little bit more parsley to give it some more color and some more pizzazz, of course. Now, if you wanted to, any game day, hockey, baseball, soccer, football, this is absolutely an elevated queso dip for us extra people. Yes, if you extra, this is what you want to do. Take that regular pulled pork sandwich and you want to go ahead and elevate that queso, add your pulled pork to your queso, and you have this beautiful dish. Now, what do I pair this with? I made some beautiful homemade pretzels and I have some chips on the side. Absolutely amazing. Now, you could even... Okay, so you can make this for absolutely any occasion. If you don't have a grill, you can definitely do all these steps in your oven. It is without a doubt a showstopper and just a nice little family get together type of a snack, or it could even be a meal. One of the things that I was thinking is you could add pasta to this, bake it, and have a one pot meal or a one pan meal. You can do a multitude of things with just this cheese sauce. That is all that I have for you today. You guys, don't forget to get your copy of Not Your Average Southern Side Chick on chefdorian.com. And until next time, eat, love, be blessed, and trust the process. Bye-bye.